Welcome back to The Debate. John O'Shea, Steve Sidwell alongside us for this Thursday night edition. Arsene Wenger's been talking in the foreign press about the Manchester United job. Yes. The Manchester United job. So it's a dream job for anyone. It's been a bit mischievous, hasn't he, now that he's left and he's kind of a little bit away from the Premier League. He was talking about Manchester United's chances of winning the Premier League. He's now talked about what a job that actually is. I mean, there's a huge gap between him saying that and him being the manager, but could that possibly, could he be involved in the hierarchy there?
Unlikely for me, but look, he's right, it is an amazing job, it is an amazing club, and he would love it. He would love it, like so many managers out there, but they've spoken recently, the club, about keeping the faith strong behind Ollie, letting him get in his plan in place, getting a structure behind again. You saw from the players that they brought in, the kind of younger model, shall we say, and moving on some of the squad that have been there. And it's going to take time, but Ollie will know, the staff will know. Look, they have to get results as well along the way. They can't let performances drop too low, and they have to maintain standards.
Does that dovetail into what Wenger was saying about, I mean, need for more first-team players, no discernible pattern of play, there's obviously poor results. That's playing for everyone to see. So I mean, structurally at this moment in time, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there? We saw Super Sunday at the weekend, top names that have been in top jobs around the Premier League saying that this Manchester United team's nowhere near it. I mean, but is there equal culpability for where they are now with the manager and the players? Yeah,
listen, we knew that it was going to be a moment of transition.
It's a long moment, though.
It is a long moment. It's a long moment. But that's been his first transfer window in the summer. You could see what he was trying to do with clearing players out and getting players in, young, hungry players that was for the future of the football club. That's still ongoing. You know, the Lukaku departure again, you know, whether they knew that or thought that somebody else was going to come in, and that didn't quite sort of happen. You know, they've lost a lot of goals there, and he would have put a lot of faith and a lot of onus on Rashford, which would have been great for him. You know, he would probably walked out of a room if he had to meet him 10 foot tall. But injuries have hit.
And you can't legislate for that, really, can you?
No, of course not. Of course not. But, you know, this is Manchester United, and, you know, just going back there on what you say about managers, I think every manager would want to take it because obviously the club itself, and they could all think that they can turn it around. But, you know, if they sat down, I think they'd be thinking twice in an interview, because obviously all the possibilities at the moment there.
Is there, just to play devil's advocate with this, I mean, yes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, totemic Manchester United footballer, what he won, what he did with that football club. There is obviously an element of patience with him because he's so revered. How long does that last? I mean, if results carry on as they are, performances carry on like they are, something's got to give, and it's easier to get rid of a manager than it is to get rid of, I don't know, 6 or 7 players that you don't feel are doing the right thing.
Yeah, it always is, but that's where the responsibility, everybody at the club has to look at themselves and are we doing the best for the players? Are we doing the best for the coaching staff? Are we doing everything off the pitch correctly? And if they're
does it feel like that? You've been there when it's been running smoothly, when trophies are getting hoovered up left, right and centre, when the people in the dressing room are the ones setting the agenda. Does it feel to you like that's happening right now?
It's work in progress, because obviously if that was happening, the trophies would be coming back that bit quicker. But when the trophies are coming back, no one's really looking at what's going on off the pitch, what's going on away from the dressing room. Because that's not happening on the pitch at the moment, people are looking off the pitch, people are looking at the directors, etc. But they must want the best for the club. And if they don't want the best, they have to be found out quickly. You'd hope the people that are in power, in place there, they must want the best for the club. They must want the club to succeed again. It must hurt them looking across the city. It must hurt them looking down the road at what the other teams are doing close by. So that must hurt them. And their pride has to come in, knocking in fast to say, right, we got to help people quickly and have the time, have the trust in place with the people that you've backed. And if you don't, you're doing things wrong yourself.
Would they go in a position where they could back him again in the next transfer window? If Wenger talks about they need 4 first-team players, so that's, you're talking about players to fit into that team straight away that you'd have to buy between, what, 75 and 100 million pounds? So 4 of those. I mean, is that the type of speed that they're going to have to go on in January?
They have to, yeah. I mean, they need stability. We've seen obviously in recent years, they've chopped and changed managers. They've gone from one philosophy to another. It's not worked. They need stability. They need to concentrate in-house, because they're a million miles away from Man City and Liverpool. A million miles away. So they can't be focusing on that. There's no chance of them challenging for a title anytime soon, in my opinion. So they need to get an influx of players in. They need to get a plan, short-term, medium to long-term plan, and just concentrate in-house. And then, obviously, the small increments, the small little progressions, they'll get there. They'll get to where they want to be. It's quite just United. It's a massive football.
Well, it's quite clearly money-making machines. That Ed Woodward said about the record profits that they've recorded. They're going to be used back towards the strengthening of the actual playing side of it. It's Arsenal on Monday, though. You've enjoyed that fixture in the past. But do Man U go into this fearful of Arsenal? Do Arsenal go into this quite happy to play United at this moment in time?
They will be quite happy on the back of obviously a good result in the League Cup, and some players coming back in to improve their team and their squad that they've been looking forward to for a while. Tierney and Holding in particular, they'd be two that they'd be quite happy to get back in. But United won't be fearful. They'll be looking forward to that clash. They'll be hoping one or two of the striking options might be back to.
Well, that's a tough one. Obviously, no Rashford, no Martial. Obviously, Steve talked about Lukaku going out the door. Do they benefit of hindsight? Is a wonderful thing, but do they look at that and think, well, yes, he seemed like a bit of a bad egg at the time, and we moved him on, got a decent price for him, but now they look quite short, don't they, up front?
Yeah, they do, but they're intelligent people. They would have realised that, and they would have thought, injuries can happen. But they're going to, Ollie spoke about it, promoting the youth that they've always done at the club, and they're going to get a chance probably a bit quicker than they thought. Young Greenwood has took a couple of chances.
He's been very glowing about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, he has been, and he might get a chance to shine on Monday evening. But he's talking about the players Ollie got the chance to bring in. They've been kind of the star performers so far as well. When you look at James and Wan-Bissaka and Maguire also, so you have to back him again in January. And if he can get players in again to have that impact, it will be painful for the moment, but it can turn around quite quickly if you get things right in the transfer windows.
Obviously, Arsenal coming up next. It's not necessarily too easy, is it? When you see Manchester United, the games that are kind of unfurling out in front of them, not just obviously domestically, but away abroad as well. It's tough. Out of all those games, I'm not asking you there, Steve, to pick out which ones are going to win and which ones they aren't, but there's absolutely nothing in that looks remotely straightforward.
No, well, that's what happens when you're in inconsistent form. Every game looks difficult. Arsenal there, Newcastle away can always be a tricky place to go. We all know, obviously, what Liverpool, a Man United Liverpool fixture brings. Anything in Europe, Norwich away. We've seen what Norwich obviously done this season already. Yeah. So that inconsistency, when you have that, again, we go back onto confidence as an individual, as a player, as a team within the dressing room. It's key. It's huge.
Do we see this going Arsenal's way or Man U's way on Monday?
It's going to be. I think it's going to be very entertaining because they have two teams.
It's the key game on Monday on our channel.
I think the way the two teams, the way the two managers want to play. I think it just depends if United can get Rashford or Martial back, it could make the difference for them. Otherwise, they'd be hopeful. At the minute, look, it'd be interesting to see what the bookmakers might think about it. They could have they could have Arsenal favourites.
Yeah.
And it's been probably a long time maybe since they have been
favourites in that one.
Favourites at that one.
Does that come about? They're so good. They're potentially going forward. Arsenal are devastating against a team defensively that's looked in recent
vulnerable.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me is with Old Trafford. The Theatre Dreams. It just seems like it's just lost that fear factor. I've been on the end of some good idings there as a player, and then coming towards the end of my career. It just seems to just lose that little bit of gloss, and teams are going there now thinking that they can go away with all 3 points, which years ago was unheard of.
Well, they come up obviously against an Arsenal side. They did very well in the Carabao Cup during the week, beating Nottingham Forest. Now, Rob Holding's come out and talked about this 5-captain scenario that Unai Emery's encouraged. That you cast your vote, you blindly put forth who you think should be in charge. What do you think? It sounds a little bit twee to me. I don't know where you're coming. Because they've done it before in the past, but the last time they put 5 up, 3 of them have left because Shelny and Ramsey. I mean, that's, I'm not casting aspersions on the people that they picked, but does it show, well, one, the transitional nature of top-level Premier League football, or the fact that, does Unai Emery know that there's going to be one person there that he can say, right, you're going to play every single week, you're one of the best players, I'm going to get the performance out of you, here's the armband? Or does it suggest that he hasn't got someone like that?
Well, that's the balance. You'd hope that there would be that standout player for you to go. That
would make it fairly straightforward.
Yeah. He gets the armband, he's going to play every week for me. I've heard of like obviously the captain and vice captain maybe.
Could you see Roy Keane on a committee of 5? Yeah. Making them all agree with it. Before he said what was going on.
Oh, it's a strange one. For me, you'd hope, as the manager or head coach, whatever you want to call it, that the player stands out for you and there's just one guy, maybe 2. But
to pick between the whole 11, if not...
There's enough voting going on at the minute.
It's obvious that there's no leading contender, isn't there? You know, he's getting a group of 5 that... Again, it's because I don't think he knows who his number one. I think, well, for starters, I don't think he knows his strongest 11, his best team. Then he doesn't know who his strongest candidate is to be a captain. So spread it around 5 players. Then whatever one plays, then they can take the pick. You know, I mean, even if you ask me now, Socrates, you know, Bellerin, there's no one that really jumps out and go.
They're the ones.
You know,
is that something that you've experienced before, that management committee?
Yeah, I've been in a few clubs where they've done that, and you know, spread it again, probably across 5 players, where you may have a senior one in the dressing room, a youngster in the dressing room, maybe one of the new signings, one of the foreign lads, and you know, they sort of form the committee, but you'll have one standout captain within that, you know. But then them little sort of mini captains, you could say, next to them. They're the ones for any other delegates to go to if they've got problems. Like the youngster, if they feel they're not strong enough to go to the main captain, they go to their fellow youngster in the leader committee and go through that way, which does work. But you need a focal point in front of them.
Given your position at Reading now, when you're on the other side of the fence, when you stop playing, and you're looking at how these players are and how the dressing room's managed, is there that kind of tangible difference of? Well, there's a lot of discussion going on. I mean, I'm not saying everyone has to scream and shout at each other, but this kind of committee of 5 does suggest that there's a lot of talking about stuff. I'm not saying talking is a bad thing.
No,
it's the show talking was a bad thing. But in the sense of you want people to make quick decisions, decisive decisions in the course of what happens around a football club, and too many cooks spoiling the broth. Do you need that one and the captain and the vice to stand out for you?
Yeah, look, that's the key thing. But I think it does help. To having as exactly what Steve said, for the younger players, to have that maybe younger guy who's been in the team for a little while, to have him to go to and speak to, and for the foreign players that maybe takes a while for the language, etc., to bed in and to learn the new language, etc. So they are important, but you do need that focal point. I think that's key for any team. But look, it's one of them. The committee things, they're important for the smaller things, but ultimately, you want that leader on the pitch. You want to be that main guy to the rest of the players are relying upon as well. For smaller things, like you said, I don't know.
Tracksuits or suits?
Yeah.
What time the bus leaves?
Yeah.
All the stuff that we can talk about.
Every time I've played, you especially on a pitch, maybe when your back's against the wall, you just want that one authoritative voice. And as soon as you hear that, you just perk up. And it depends if it's a little rollicking or if it's one where you need to galvanise the team or for 5 minutes. That's what you need, and that's what Arsenal have lacked in a number of years for me.
Could you, if you were a fan, could you look at it? I'm not saying it would necessarily cheapen the fact that of the person that's wearing the armband, but Rob Holding spoke very glowingly and very proudly, obviously, wearing the armband for Arsenal. But Mesut Ozil had it on. He came off. Holding's got it.
Yeah.
I mean, would there be a fan looking at it and saying it's not that it's just getting passed around, but it's almost because there's that many people on this committee. It could be, there you go, your turn this time.
Yeah, no, but it is.
Especially when you look at the iconic people that have worn the armband in recent years.
Exactly, especially at that football club. You know, they I think every fan screams out for one iconic figure. You know, their captain, their leader. They're the one that's going to lead them out. You know, first out the tunnel, representing that football club. You don't want that sort of different face, different personality changing from time to time. In my opinion, as a player, I wouldn't like it. But maybe it's the new way that football's going.
Yeah, 3 captains.